Hello everyone and welcome back to that one playthrough of Kerbal's Space Program. I am Kyle once again and we are taking off right into another segment of some flight missions with a slightly wobbly Bumblebee at the moment. Come on, why are we not getting off the ground here? This time I got Jebediah in the cockpit to get some flight experience and yeah, for some reason this does not want to pick up. There we go. Woo. A little less stable than the last few times we've attempted this. Yeah, really what I wanted to show here more than anything is that I'm not trying to cheat my way through, you know, money and other things that are required in the career playthrough of this game. I've got a couple of contracts that I know are up in the sky somewhere here. I got to figure out exactly where. Let's gain some altitude. Let's look at the map, figure out where we're going. A little bit of distance on some of these, so might take us some time to get there. Yep, there they are. Okay. So we're going to go toward that little icon to start with. But yeah, I wanted to show that I'm actually doing contracts to gain money. And, you know, the Bumblebee is going to be a big part of that early on here, doing some of these flight contracts that are easy to do. We're going to do a crew report when we get to this one. We just have to fly below these markers. Like I said, I got Jebediah in the cockpit, so he gets some flight experience. And then something else I've been experimenting with the, not just the O-Scrap mod, but the way that parts are collected via Kerbal Construction Time. We're actually utilizing parts, well, this should be not a new part. It is Gen 3, I know that, but some of these, like this one, this is status, A-OK. This one should be a tested engine, which is why the safety rating is 9. Really high, really good. This says part is new. This one says previous one. So basically it's an engine we've used on a previous Bumblebee, the actual engine, and we're reusing the part, which means it's safer, it's more reliable. It's been flight proven, which should lead to some greater safety in the grand scheme of things, specifically with the Jebediah's flight here. So we're gonna probably speed this up a little bit to get to that marker. Yeah, we're definitely gonna need to speed up. We got 2 minutes until we arrive there, which is quite some time. We're actually slowing down because I am gaining altitude, so I might level off a little bit. See if we can pick up velocity and get that ETA down as low as we can get it. And I should be gathering some science while I do this. I need to pay attention to exactly where I'm at, because when I'm over certain things, I should potentially be able to gather some more data so we can keep our tech tree rolling forward as well. I think I might be there, so we're going to do a quick crew report just to be sure. Send that, and no science. But we did get our contract complete, so yeah, I was flying over it. Perfect. Okay, now we can change our trajectory. Let's go ahead and set our navigation to the second piece there. Gonna do pretty hard bank here. Oh, it's just bleeding a lot of speed. This thing's super maneuverable, but not doesn't maintain speed very well. Oh, we actually just had a failure of some sort. I don't know what that was. It says something about my Juno, our engine. Alternator failure. Which one, though? Repair. Thrust 9.3 kilonewtons. 9.3 kilonewtons. It doesn't seem to have harmed us too much here. Well, hopefully it's not that big a deal. Alright, I think I've entered the area. Let's go ahead and do that quick crew report again. Transfer that. Contract complete again. So yeah, each one of those was 11,000 in total cash. They had a pre-contract value of I think 6,000, which is why I chose those two. So upfront money about 12,000 total. Contract completion about another 22,000. And right now we're sitting pretty comfortably 161,000, which we could use to actually upgrade some buildings in the KSC, but we're going to do some research with the little bit of science data that we have here. We can get one more node, which is actually going to include some better engines moving forward, which should hopefully lead to some easier stuff to do way up there in space, as was seen from the last time, we had some trouble in that department. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and speed the footage up here just a little bit so that we can watch this overall approach back into the KSC. Now, I just, more than anything, wanted to showcase that I do have some competency as a pilot in this game, and that I didn't just, use the parachutes that I built into this aircraft to land, so a little bit of a wibble wobbly going in here, line up the craft down the runway. I end up doing some really aggressive up and down flares to make sure we bleed off some speed. It is a little risky on a dirt runway this early in the game, but this thing was perfectly capable, relatively smooth landing, not too much trouble. Again, not the smoothest of landings, but, it's getting the job done. Alright, we're going to go ahead and research the, what is this one? General rocketry, so we get some vacuum engines, some small ones, which will be good for some, deep space probes or small satellites when we get to those. As well as what seems to be more of a vacuum engine. It's actually weaker than the Cogswell that we have, the other engine in kind of that first tier, but we actually get a much, much stronger solid rocket booster in the Flea. I'm going to go ahead and also do all these ones that are singles, so there's just a couple construction parts for each one of these, so just going to grab all those nice and easily. We can't get this next tier, however, until we actively, have 45 research to do, so a little more expensive to get to the next zone. Actually, there's this one here, modular wings, still floating off in the boonies here for some reason. But we'll get those just to have, again, a few more parts that are good for flight. And then I'm going to take these upgrades. I'm going to throw one more into spaceplane hangar. I'm going to put 2 into our vehicle assembly building, so we have a full, whatever these numerical values indicate, 1 full BP per second, whatever that is. And then I'll put another one into the second tier of that. So that means when we have 2 things building in our vehicle assembly building, both of them will be partially being completed. But obviously the first one will go faster than the second one, but it'll kind of help speed the process along. So we can have multiple things under construction. All right, and now for something completely different. Went ahead and built a rover because we have a few contracts to do collecting science just around the KSC. If you've never done this before, really easy way to just kind of go to each of the individual buildings, collect some science so that we can have some more to spend on our tech tree. It is a little cheeky, kinda, so I'm not going to do too many. In fact, I'll probably just go to the locations that it specifically designates for this contract. Otherwise, we could potentially unlock like 2 or 3 extra nodes just by, exploring places that we shouldn't really be able to gather science from. So what we'll do is we'll bring up science here now. We do have the mystery goo container I unlocked as well, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure that we collect that data. I'm going to go ahead and keep it. And there's actually some more cheekiness that you can actually do. Let's actually go ahead and do some of that. So I'm going to slow this guy down a little bit. Let's apply the brakes. Why can't I apply the brakes? There we go. That's better. I would like to apply the brakes very subtly here. We'll go ahead and lock those in place. And if we review this, we're going to go ahead and transmit the data from the mystery goo container. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have our friend here, our scientist, who, Bill, I believe it is. Yeah, nope, sorry, Bob. Bob, this is the first time we've seen Bob in action. He's going to come down here, he's going to restore this. We're going to have him observe it again. And then we're going to collect it. He's going to reboard. And then we can review this and not what I wanted here. Mystery goo, now we have science. So we transmitted some science. We redid the test. We gathered some more. Now we're not going to transmit this because there's no transmit value, but I will hold on to that. And we'll be able to get more out of it later on. I don't know why it's collecting all this other data when I'm not asking it to. I don't know. A little interesting that we got other things in there. Anyways, the other stuff that we need to do for this contract specifically, spaceplane hangar, KSC's crawlway, the launch pad, and spaceplane hangar. So that's pretty easy to get the first couple segments here. We're just going to turn right on into spaceplane hangar. And, ooh, we need to restore our mystery goo now that I see it here. Let's apply the brakes again. Slow this bad boy down. Let's get Bob back out here. I need you to restore this. And then go ahead and observe it again. And let's just go ahead and keep it board anyway, yeah. Just like, yeah, I feel like this mod is automatically collecting data even though I'm not doing anything. Same with the seismic data here. Hold on, log seismic data. Collect. Okay, if I have Bob collect this now, I want you to take the data, and then tell him to board. It says we already have it. I don't like how this is working, kinda. It's like taking away the fun of me actually doing stuff. Let's do a little experiment. Let's go, let's see, we have to go to the crawlway, and we have to go, we've already done this, it says, it looks like. Temperature scan from spaceplane hangar. Seismic scan, spaceplane hangar. Launch pad and crawlway. So the situation is already designated as correct because we are landed. Let's see when we get to the crawlway here if it collects it for us. If that's the case, then I don't really... Yeah, see, it's like collecting it all for us. Don't like that. I don't like that at all. Okay, let's go to the crawlway. Boom, yeah, so it like automatically did it for us. I mean, it's kind of nice, I guess, so that you don't forget stuff, but I wonder if there's a way I can disable that so that I have to do more of it manually. I'm a little upset by this. We're gonna go to the launch pad and see if this one gets done, if it does the seismic test for us. This might explain why I've been collecting scientific data and getting more stuff when I didn't anticipate getting more stuff. Kerbin's launch pad. And yeah, it looks like it collected that as well. Wow, I'm a little upset by this. Also, I called it the ladybug. I forgot to mention that. Okay, if I recover this now, is it going to complete the contract? Yeah, so it's saying I got 54 science from this whole thing. It's saying I did a temperature scan of the launch pad, seismic scan of the launch pad, atmospheric pressure scan from the launch pad, but I didn't actively do any of that. I mean, I had the experiments, so I could have. Alright, well, apparently we got the contract completed. All the parameters were met, 5,000 for each one of them that we did, and 24,000 in total, so a good chunk of change. I'm gonna look into the mod to see if I can tweak that. I don't like it doing stuff for me. Alright, and then with this 79 science, I can't get 2 nodes, but I can get 1, which could be beneficial. We got some electrical components here, more solar panels, bigger battery, high gain antenna would be nice. We can get the Science Junior, which is actually huge. There's a Radial Science Junior. That must be part of my mod packs as well. Enhanced survivability. Bigger parachutes. Service bay. Life support, which we will need later on. A heat shield, obviously. Flight control. I don't think so yet. I think the best option is to probably do... I mean, there's more fuel tanks in this one, which will come in handy as well, but let's see, the Valiant. This is a pretty high thrust engine. So is the Torch. I got a hammer solid fuel. What are these? Cargo part. A firework launcher. Okay. Yeah, so there's a lot better engines here. I'm going to go with the better engines, because if we can get more thrust enabled, that's really going to help us leave Kerbin, because again, JNSQ mod means that things are a little bit tougher. Alright, another thing I want to do is go into the upgrades. Now that I've done quite a few nodes in here in research, one of the things you get is number of science researched per day on those nodes. So I'm going to use a point on that, which will actually speed up the research process by twofold, essentially. Alright, we do have a big project here to be able to orbit Kerbin, and I think I'm just about prepared to go ahead and accept that. Okay, so if our primary plan going forward is obviously to try to get to orbit, and we've had a lot of issues with machines not working the first time we use them, I've decided to go through a little bit of a testing process. So this is the THUD, and I actually got a contract for this, so if I look here real quick, we've got test MK55 THUD, liquid fuel engine landed at Kerbin, so we should have this contract completed as soon as we fire this up. Make sure that our staging is separated, because I don't want to actually disconnect from the clamps. I would just like to make sure that we can test out the engine. So we'll fire that bad boy up. Let it burn out all that fuel. We complete a contract. And now we can officially say that the status is that this engine does in fact work. So we'll get a better generation out of it just by using it. But what I can also do in recovering this is I can use the exact same engine again if I wanted to on our main craft. Now I decided to do this with a couple of engines that I've got in stock basically. Figured it's a good way to test them out, make sure we get future generation and usage of them. This is, what is this? And why does it say Gen 2? Engine Safety Rating 2. I haven't used this yet, have I? Valiant? I don't think I have. Pretty sure I haven't. I wonder if this is more buggy stuff. I definitely haven't even used it in another save file, I know that for sure. Anyways, it says status okay as well, but I figured more than anything, it was probably a good idea to go through and test a lot of these. Maybe a good way to make sure that future generations of the engines work as well. You know, I'm not going to have contracts for each of these ones like I did with the Thud, but more than anything, again, they're going to get tested, make sure they work, give me an idea, you know, of whether or not my first time failures are going to happen like they have in the past. Whoever's in that bunker is just going to get smoked out, I realize now. Probably not the best strategic place of engine testing. Here I've got the Pug, or the LV-303, which is a little vacuum engine that I think might come in handy when I start launching some smaller satellites. So we'll test this out real quick as well. Little tiny vacuum engine. Not a lot of pop to it, but you know, efficient. More efficient in space, not super efficient down here. Probably does nothing down here, I would imagine. Yeah, really bad specific impulse, very low thrust. Definitely a vacuum engine, but obviously want to make sure it works because this is something I think we'll get a lot of value out of. And then the last ones here, I've got a pair of solid rocket boosters. I figured might as well test those since these really tend to have failures the first time I use them. So we'll fire the hammer up here, and that's going to get really smoky, kind of doing weird things to the visuals. We'll let that guy fire up, burn out completely, because there's no way I can shut it off. Looks like that means the hammer is going to be tested and accepted. Again, it says Generation 2. I'm trying to figure out why it would be Gen 2 when these are the first time I've used any of these. Like, I know for a fact this is the first time I've used these. Fire the next one. This is the Flea. These things have a ton of thrust. They might come in handy if I'm trying to get to orbit very, very soon. So, pretty inexpensive way. Fire up some engines, burn some fuel, obviously, not spend any cash, really, except for the fuel. Recover the vessels so that we can get the cash back value. And now we've got stuff that's tested or used, so we should have further generations. And that means that, you know, we'll have a little bit more success, hopefully, the first time we fire some of those up, if the goal is now to get to orbit. Okay, and I decided to pull the Ladybug rover back out here one more time. Need to actually shut off the reaction wheels here so we can drive a little bit more comfortably. But what I figured I'd do real quick, because I actually went into my mod list and figured out why all of the science experiments were going automatically. And it was not because of Science Here and Now or a bug. Science Here and Now, or Science with the exclamation point, that mod, this one right here, these two working together. This mod was working correctly. What was happening was I had another mod called For Science that I totally forgot about, which basically automates running science, recollects stuff as far as resets experiments, and then every time you enter a new biome, it just automatically runs them all again, which is not exactly what I wanted. I wanted Science Here and Now to be able to do it myself, but not feel like the game was just going to collect things for me. So just to kind of demonstrate that this is operating properly, I'll go ahead and do a mystery goo. Let's collect that. I'll have Bob, who's back in the cockpit here of the Ladybug rover, which is, by the way, the most makeshift rover in existence, I feel like. He's going to eventually reset that, and why don't I have steering control here? Normal. This should be inverted. Why are these not steering? Enabled. Enabled. Disabled. Oh, there we go. I had the reaction wheel set to SAS only, but it should be fine now. Okay. So we're gonna head over. I think we've gotten all the experiments. Whoa, why are we turning? That was close. I think we've gotten all the experiments from most of these areas. I still need to reset this a little bit, don't I? Should be. Is normal correct? I don't know if normal is correct either. That's still dipping a lot. Anyways, go ahead and hit the brakes here real quick. And just to show my competence that I can do this myself, we're going to collect the data. Yes, collect it. Restore this. We're going to observe it again for this area by the, not vehicle assembly, but in the spaceplane hangar. We're going to then collect the data, restore, and then we're going to board back up here, get in and have that data. Now, I'm going to do a couple more spots around the KSP one more time here. This will be the last time I think I actually run a lot of these experiments. And again, the SAS is driving me insane. Oh, no. Ah. Oh, no. Oh, no. Alright, well now my rover can breakdance. Let's see if it can breakdance out of this. Hold on. It's close. It's close. Come on. Oh, we saved it. Oh, that was pretty incredible. I feel much better about myself. Alright, let's go ahead and observe Mystery Goo again, because it's telling me I need to do Mystery Goo from... I just did Spaceplane Hangar. Reset that. I don't think that's accurate. Try this again. Not SAS only, but pilot only. Maybe that's what I need. Okay, here we go. This is astronaut. I guess we need both of these, so it depends on which side of the road we're on. Go ahead and come over here, hit the brakes. This is for just landed at Kerbin's lowlands. Okay, fair enough. Crew report. Temperature scan. Atmospheric pressure, Mystery Goo. Seismic scan. There we go. Gathered precise acceleration data while subjecting the vessel to the situation. So let's just go ahead and collect. Mystery Goo collect. We'll do a quick EVA report as well. I think, yeah, let's take all the data that's in these now. This is just more fun. I feel like I like to actually collect the data, reset the experiments myself with the Kerbals. I don't like it when the game says it's going to do it for me. That just takes all the fun away. So we'll get quite a bit of data actually out of this little trip, which is good. And because I'm hoping to get one more node on our research tech tree, which is going to help us hopefully get into the spaces. And what I need to do is I actually need to take all of the data and then restore the experiments again. And that'll actually allow me to do the crew report again. Again, we'll just take all these. This is obviously a super tedious thing to do on some occasions. But in the case of, you know, me playing the game, I have fun with it. What I'll probably do in the future is when we have massive amounts of experiments that we have to do at, you know, certain bodies, whether we're landed on them, different biomes, I'll speed that stuff up. Now I can't remember if the flagpole is a different biome or not. Doesn't look like it is. Okay, this is the admin building, I believe. We'll gather all these again. EVA. Run that report. And take data, rinse, repeat. Right, we are at the R&D building. Go ahead and gather all those. And I think that's probably good. That's quite a bit of science. Again, I don't want to cheat the system too much. I just wanted to, again, prove that we've got the right mods installed here now, so we'll have to actually go through each experiment manually like I wanted to from the first place. And good chunk of science, actually, that'll actually bring us to the point where we can get 2 more nodes, which is going to put us in a really good spot, actually. Alright, so first thing I really want to make sure I get is flight control. So this has some gyroscopes, better probe cores. This is going to be the real big thing to help me kind of stay in control when I send up this first orbital vehicle. So we're going to make sure we research that. And then honestly, I'm thinking basic science again, because it's going to give us more experience. We got the Science Junior Science Experiment Return System. That'd be good. I Yeah, there's a couple of things in here I'm thinking would be beneficial, some better antennas. So I'm going to go with basic science, so I'll have those two going. And you know, I think this is a good place to go ahead and call it for the day. We've done a lot of good work getting some more science. We got some tech tree stuff unlocked that's really going to help us on this first orbital vehicle coming up very soon. We've done some tests on some engines to make sure things are safe and ready to go, that we've got some pieces that we can put together in our rocket that we know are going to be capable of taking us as high as we need to go. And then, you know, we'll see next time how far we can make it into space. At the very least, we should be able to gather some more science, and then hopefully get our first vehicle into an orbit that is stable around Kerbin. Obviously, with this JNSQ mod making things a little tougher, I'm having to rethink exactly how I approach this. So I hope you join me for that next episode. Until then, though, I am Kyle. This has been that one playthrough of Kerbal Space Program, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Have a wonderful day.